Good morning, I'm back in the car. I know a few of you guys like my car vlogs, and I'm on my way to a doctor's appointment. I don't look forward to this one, but this is one I go to once a week. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is something that you don't really realize, being on that side of YouTube and, you know, as far as makeup videos and beauty videos, what hell this really does to your skin. I have been having so much trouble with my skin, more trouble with my skin than I've had ever in my life doing my videos. And it's like, I love doing videos, but it is really putting a damper on my skin. So I'm gonna do some more like eye videos, do some more eye makeup videos, and just kind of alternate doing full face looks for a while. We'll do some other, I'll do some eye looks and really get into, because I haven't done, you know, more artistic type eye looks too much on here. And mainly that's me, and that's just my insecurities and my just being so hard on myself. I am really terrible. I will film a full glam eye tutorial and I'll delete it because I see something I don't like. And what I need to do is quit doing that and just put it up. You know, and just, that's how you learn. That's how you grow, is just keep doing things. And, you know, being of artistic, I guess, descent, because everybody in my family is pretty artistic, I've always been that way. I paint, and I'll paint something and I'll like throw it away, or I'll like take black paint and smear it over what I just painted. I'm like so insecure about my art, and I hate that I'm like that. And you know, that's a lot of what I kind of started doing this channel, to grow different ways and just kind of come out of my shell about a lot of things. And you know, a lot of that comes with time. And you know, I'm a nationally certified groomer also, and I've thought about doing a couple grooming videos, because a couple of people on here have asked about, you know, my previous career and stuff. I was a competitive groomer. I did do that a little bit. I became certified, which is a nightmare. If you know anything about grooming, you take a written test, and then you actually have to groom the dog in front of a judge. They tear it apart, well, not tear it apart, but they go through all the hair and they critique you, and it's a pass-fail. There's no in between. It's A or F. Pass-fail. That's how it is. And I will tell you that 99.9% of groomers that I have seen in the pet industry would not pass. If you ever wondered, you know, about that side of it, it's almost like hairdressers. I don't know, the big hairdresser Fabio, the one that got killed, he was a platform artist. What a platform artist in hairdressing is, one that competes, and one that, you know, you get up on stage, you have a person or a dog in front of you, and you do a haircut, and then you're judged, and they place you. It's just like any other competition. If it was a competition to paint a car, you know, you paint a car and they judge it. But unlike some of those, you have to do it in front of them. They have to see what you're doing, they'll watch what you're doing, they'll watch your technique. And I have learned a lot of techniques, and I've thought about doing another channel, because I have a lot of dog grooming friends, and I have a lot of people that wanted to learn about hand scissoring and hand stripping. Hand stripping is where you actually strip out the undercoat. You can do it on any dog, but it's done mostly on a hard coat dog, like a Schnauzer, you know, a Cocker Spaniel, English Cocker, American Cocker, which you probably don't even know the difference in those. But anyway, I don't want to speak too much French on you guys, but I've thought about getting into doing some videos on that. I've actually trained quite a few people on hand scissoring techniques. I learned from a National Dog Groomers Association of America judge, and a top competitor in the United States taught me a lot of my scissoring techniques and hand stripping techniques and whatnot. Real nice lady down in Palm Beach. Well, And, just kind of been screwing around thinking about different video ideas, different things to do. Still working on this giveaway, and you know, I decided we're so close. Let's get to 2,000. If we can get to 2,000 subscribers, which is only like, I think it's 20 away, if that. It might even be like 10. Might be less than 10, I don't know. If we can get there, I'll give away the Jeffree Star palette. It's sitting here, I'm dying to give it away, and just like I have other things to give away, I have a Natasha Denona palette sitting there, a Lila palette, and she's already came out with another palette, which, if you guys, you know, I watched Rich Lux the other day, and Rich Lux made it. Rich Lux actually said, "Girl, bye." I love it. It just kills me. I make shitty comments on people, just like goofing sometimes, you know, just to get a reaction. You know, I'm just like that kind of person. But don't think because I have a platform and because I do videos that I'm like gonna suck ass on everybody, because I am like, I'm me. This is how I am. I'm not a mean person. I'm a little condescending at times, and I can be very goofy, I guess is the word we could use, goofy. And I am very straight to the point, honest, beyond a fault, beyond... I'm the kind of friend you either love or you hate, because I'm not going to look at you in your face and tell you, oh, you look great, when you look like shit. I'm going to tell you. I made a comment on a video, and some girl's like, "Girl, bad. I thought you were nice and sweet, and I thought you were like, I was supporting you, and you made that comment, and you know, you shouldn't tear women down, you should boost them up." The girl, all I said, I made a comment, and I said on this girl's video, I said she was like watching a train wreck. So cringy, but you can't look away. The girl was doing a video on some alternate medicinal products, we'll just say, and she had been in the sauce a little too much before her video. And have you ever heard somebody that uses marijuana get really high and try to read something or try to explain something? I wasn't being mean, but the girl was like, and it just, I was like, God, just say it, talk! You know, it's like, if you're gonna do a video, don't go get high as fuck and then get on here and say something and not expect somebody to tell you. I'm gonna be the first one to tell you, you know? I've seen other people. My favorite comment to make is, this is what happens when you get high and YouTube. You know, it's, people don't realize, and I am all for, don't get me wrong, I am all for medical marijuana. It was a very touchy subject as far as voting for it, and I voted, I will be very honest with you, at first I voted no, and then on the second time around I voted yes. And the only reason why I voted no in the first place is that I live in Florida. Florida just had a major blow with the opioid industry, okay, and all the pill mill doctors and all that. And that's all we need here is a bunch of pot farms, you know, and a bunch of money-hungry idiots popping up these marijuana dispensaries, you know, just to make a buck. Son of a bitch, how many lights am I going to have to sit through? This is like the fourth light, trying to turn left. Oh, God. Anyway, if things, I don't like how government gets involved in stuff and taxes the shit out of it and this and that. But, you know, there are certain situations where, It's awfully bright. I gotta put my sunglasses on. Somebody was talking about these the other day. These are from Zenny Optical, if you guys wonder. These are prescription sunglasses, and they are like the bomb. I got the gradient tint in them, so they're kind of clear towards the bottom, so if I go in somewhere I can see. I like them because they make my face look smaller, because they're like huge. I did a Trisha Paytas, you know, actually I copied a pair of Trisha Paytas, I think they're Gucci glasses that are just like these. Anyway, that's why I got these. I saw her with them, and I'm like, oh man, you know, it does. She made a comment about wearing big glasses and it making her face look smaller, and it really does. But anyway, back to the dispensary thing. I don't like how government can get involved in things, and I also don't like how anybody with money used to be able to pop up a pill mill here. All you had to do was find a doctor that would back you, and I had a couple of friends that did it. It was a couple down in Palm Beach, and they opened up a pill mill type doctor's office, and you would go in. You would pay, I think it was like $250 or $300 to see a doctor, which 9 times out of 10 you didn't even see the doctor. You would go in, you would sit there for a little while, pay the money, and they would hand you a prescription. So basically you were paying for a piece of paper. And that's how these places did around here. And you know, unfortunately I found out how it worked because I went there. This was back when I was having a lot of trouble with my back. I've been on pain meds most of my life. I've gotten away from all that now since I've had my back surgery. I do still occasionally take pain meds, but not to the extent of like a regular crazy ass prescription like I used to get. That was crazy, and I had to fight my way off that stuff, and it nearly killed me. I went blind for 5 days. One day I'll tell you guys my story about that. It was really crazy, from everything from having to have my landlord open the door and get me out and call an ambulance. It was really bad, and it wasn't like an OD situation or anything. You know what, screw it, I'll just tell you the story. Okay. Anyway, I had been taking pain meds for a long time. I had been taking very high doses and abusing them. Plain and simple. There's no way you can take pain meds and not abuse them. Something's going on. There's a helicopter out here and like 5 fire trucks and an ambulance. 2 ambulances. I hope there's no other shooting here. It's crazy. Anyway, I had been taking them for many years, and it got to the point here, there was all these drug busts going on. Not necessarily drug busts, but they were busting all these pill mills, and it came to the extent of you didn't know if you went into a doctor's office if you were coming out in handcuffs, because I did. I wasn't arrested, but I was detained until they discovered that I was an actual patient that had a legitimate MRI. They were actually sitting there calling the MRI place, going through your file, because they had warrants to do this, looking at your MRI, finding out where it was done, calling that place and seeing if it was legitimate, calling the doctor listed. It was a nightmare. I had it happen to me more than once. And my friends that had a place down in Palm Beach, they were both arrested. The doctor was arrested. I think there was 4 nurses and 2 security guards arrested. They come in and they literally arrest everybody. And it doesn't matter if 10 of your patients are legitimate. If one of them is not, that was it. You're done. Anyway, they were overprescribing stuff. They were breaking all kinds of laws and whatnot, and just, you know, the DAA went really crazy, especially here in Florida, with just busting everybody. In my time of being on pain medication, I would say within a span of a year, I went through 6 doctors, 4 of which were arrested. One, I didn't like the guy. I didn't feel right. He was over prescribing me stuff. I asked him to stop giving me that, give me something else that was lower dosage. He refused. Anyway, that, and then the next time I made an appointment with them, they decided it was $100 more. I guess because I took up the doctor's time to talk to him. Anyway, you were given like 10 minutes in most of these places if you saw a doctor. Most of the places I kid you not, several places that I went, I walked up to a counter, I paid money, waited 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it was, and was handed a prescription. I even, as far as these places were charging, say you go into the doctor and it's $250 to see the doctor. They do not accept insurance. It's cash only. No credit cards, no check, no nothing. Have cash. That's how these worked. It was a big thing in Florida. People made a lot of money, and most of those people are doing a lot of time. But you would walk up to a counter and you would pay, say, $250. Some of these places offered a VIP where you would get on a separate list. So if you wanted to pay an extra $100 to $200, $300 more, you were put on the short list. So you would either sit there for 6 hours or you sit there for 2 hours. You choose. And it was a different price depending on, you paid for how long you wanted to wait. These places were crazy. And there were people going from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor. And before now they have a computer system and they all link these pharmacies and doctors all together. So if you see one doctor, say you go and you get a prescription from this doctor, every doctor you go to is notified that you went there. And say you go to the emergency room and you get a pain medicine from, say you hurt your leg, you get pain medicine. That goes into a system. Your regular family doctor, for one, will call you within probably 72 hours and say, oh, I saw you went to the hospital. How are you doing? I saw they give you blah, 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 blah. They will have immediately a record like that. You go to fill a prescription at the pharmacy. Say you got pain medicine from your doctor and then you went to the hospital and you got some. That's illegal. You can't get pain medicine from 2 different places within so many span of time. So if you did that within, say, 30 days, you could be arrested. Insane. Even though a doctor gave you the prescription, it's still illegal. So you would go and go to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy could say, oh, I see on this day you filled this prescription, and on this day you filled this prescription. Things are so linked now, it's very hard to get away with anything anymore. And now that's why the heroin epidemic has gotten so bad here in the United States, is because, and especially like through Florida, Georgia, up into Tennessee, Ohio, and Kentucky, it's like there's like a triangle right there. They actually call it the heroin triangle in Georgia. And it's like Atlanta all the way down, and it kind of funnels down almost into Florida. Insane. But people wound up with all these doctors being arrested and whatnot. Anyway, I got tired of all that. New Year's Eve, I said, you know what? Screw this. I talked to my mom on the phone. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I took my last dose of pain medicine. I flushed the rest of it. New Year's Eve. And I told my mom, I'll call you in the morning. She knew what he did. Well, I think I talked to her the next morning, and like 2 days later, I could barely walk. My stomach was horrible. It was like the worst flu I ever got, and it was terrible. And I'm gonna do this. I don't want to be on this shit no more. And at that point, I didn't have insurance, so I couldn't like go somewhere, and I had called around trying to find out, like, can you about being detoxed off of pain medicine. And I talked to a detox center, and they told me that if you were on pain medication from a doctor, from a prescription, they could not take you. They could only take you if you were accessing the drug illegally. Because I had no insurance, and it was like on a county thing. It was an indigent. You know, I didn't have the money to pay for, you know, going to detox. I think the lady I talked to, one of them was $11,000. One wanted like $6,000. I think the cheapest thing I found was like $3,000 or $4,000. They wanted half up front. Nightmare. Anyway, so all the programs that like that, you had to be getting the drug illegally. You couldn't be getting it legally because they didn't consider it a drug problem. Well, now Florida looks at things a whole lot different because people wound up not getting help, so they turned around and they went to heroin. Well, I wasn't going that route, and I wanted off this crap, and you know, this was before like it got really bad here. This was when it had just started, and people were getting arrested, and doctors were getting shut down. I didn't want no part of it. I was tired of it. You know, I watched too many people get taken out of doctor's offices in handcuffs. I had been put in handcuffs and questioned. No, I wasn't doing it. I wanted to, I hadn't had my back surgery at that point. I wanted to tighten up, figure out how the hell I was going to get this taken care of. I wanted to have the back surgery and just be done. Well, that's a whole nother ball game, but anyway. So, about 10 days had went by. My mom hadn't heard from me. Actually, yeah, it was about 9-10 days. No, I might be wrong. I think it might have been about 7 or 8. Anyway, it was between 5 and 10 days. My mom hadn't heard from me. She called my landlord. My landlord said, okay, well, I'll go over there. I didn't have my phone. What was going on in the room, I was so sick I couldn't get out of bed. I did not leave my bed. Literally. I was so sick I could not get up and did not leave the span of that room and that bed for all those days. I had a case of bottled water in there, and thank God I was drinking that. Otherwise, I probably would be dead. But as soon as I would drink it, it would come right back up. I couldn't keep anything down. It was horrible. I had a big bucket next to me, and that, long story short, anyway. So my mom contacts my landlord. My landlord comes over, and oh my God. I get emotional thinking about this. I thought I was going to die. I literally thought I was going to die at that point. I had lost my eyesight. I had went blind for at least, I think it was about 5 days. Because I didn't get my sight back until after I got to the hospital. And this was like a day or two later. But I had lost my sight and I couldn't see. And somehow my phone had wound up in the kitchen, out on the counter. And I don't know. I think I had made it out to the kitchen, and we had roommates at the time. I remember I'm lactose intolerant. I do remember I couldn't see, and getting a gallon of milk out, and I didn't even know what it was, and taking a sip of it. But at that point, I think it tastes like the best thing ever. But anyway, he knocked on the door, and he asked me if I was okay, and I barely could get out. No. And he says, I'm calling an ambulance. The ambulance got there, and the ambulance lady was so nasty to me. I told her what was going on, and, you know, all they could say is, well, why'd you stop taking your medication? Why did you stop taking your medication? Well, because I'm not living like this. I'm not living for a pill. Bullshit, you know? Get to the hospital. What does the hospital do? Want to put me back on my medication. That's the first thing they want to do. I went all these days without medication. I said, no. They said, well, we're going to have to give you some form of opiate. We're going to have to tape you off a little bit. Because I was in full-blown withdrawal. It was horrible. Anyway, they gave me, I think it was like Percocet or something. I was on really high doses of a lot stronger stuff. And they gave me, I think it was 10 milligram Percocets or 5 milligram Percocets. And I was trying to not take them. If I absolutely could avoid it, I was trying not to take them. And I just kind of tapered off. I tapered off with what they gave me. I think they gave me like 20 pills, and I used that, and I got done. I didn't touch pain medicine until I had my back surgery, and then they got me back on pain medicine all over again. And when you're hooked on pain meds like that, it doesn't, your body doesn't say, okay, well, we haven't taken this in months, so, you know, it doesn't treat it like that. It treats it like the day you stopped. And your body needs that much to be able to work. They had such a hard time controlling my pain during my surgery. And after my surgery, it was so difficult. But that's my story. And here I am. I'm alive. Drug-free. I don't drink. And I was never really a drinker anyway. But I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't do anything. People talk about medicinal marijuana. I'm actually allergic to it. I found out in high school. Oh my God, I got so sick. That's another story. I got so sick, I wound up at the emergency room, and they kept asking me, what did you take? What did you eat? Because my throat had started to close up, and they gave me some medicine for that. I broke out in hives all over the place. And I finally told them what it was, and they, you must be allergic to something in it, so I can't take it. But I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what it's like to be on marijuana, because that was the one time I tried it, and I don't even remember nothing about it, to be honest with you. Anyway, guys, I'm pulling up at my appointment. God, that was a long little chit chat, but I love doing these little car vlogs with you. You guys get to find out little interesting things about me, and I will be putting up another video here in a couple of days. Unless we hit 2,000 before that. If we hit 2,000 before that, you will see my pretty face back on here announcing who the hell won. Have a great day. Love you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.